that club, if inconsistent. And from Great Britain's perspective as well, in truth, if we need to see him playing well for Hull. So, I like. He can be an irritating bugger when he's playing against your side, but I like Connor. I think he's hugely talented, and it's good to see him playing well. And he certainly played well in this game. And as I say, holding his nerve and that lovely little kick for the final try was the icing on the cake. It's very good.
Yeah, I mean, you got to remember at that point the game was gone, wasn't it? Almost.
Yeah.
And
to do that, very good.
With the brave try from Michael Shenton, you've got to say with I think it might have been Connor actually who was coming across, who didn't get there, just got there slightly late, but brave physicality from Michael Shenton. We've seen that plenty of times from him over his career. But Connor, what Hull FC need to get out of Connor, well, they need to get the most out of him. They need to get some consistency out of him. But I think people, when they talk about him maybe being a standoff in particular, people are obsessed with the idea of him being consistently influential in a match. I don't think a Jake Connor type, who's a kind of is more about moments than consistency in games for me, is going to ever deliver that if that's your expectation. What Hull FC need to work on is, instead of having him have great games and terrible games, it's about having him consistently have games where he has great moments in those games. So he has great moments in every game, rather than 10 great moments in one game but none in the next game. And I think at fullback gives him an opportunity to have great moments in every game. I just think there was a number of great. I'm going to sort of talk you through his game in a way, because his last couple of touches were so important, getting to the short kickoff and then moving all the way across the field quickly to get in place for Snyder's pinpoint kick. But right from the start, he showed his aerial prowess. He took that kick for Hull's in the build-up to Hull's first try with a skillful no-look offload over his shoulder too in that play. He had a couple of involvements in the much-discussed Jordan Johnston try, actually, after the Cass player flew in with the late tackle. That Daryl Powell says isn't what started the backfield to do, but whatever. Clearly it was. But he had a couple of good involvements in that play, delivering the final assist. But even earlier in the play as well, he actually was the one who broke it all up on the outside, getting Tumavavi free. He had an assist as well, a very Connor-like assist where he nearly messed it up and then brought it back in on the Ben McNamara try. This was when he'd gone to fullback in the game too. Young Ben McNamara played pretty well too. So that was Connor's game in a few highlights, but that's what I think Connor's games need to be: a few good highlights
every game, because he's not there to be a workhorse. He's there to influence the outcome of the game, and that's primarily by him doing Connor-like things with the ball. He certainly did it in this game, and it'll be very interesting to see now whether they leave him there or regularly move him there for the end part of the season.
I
hope they do. I think we did. When Jake Connor's playing well like that, it's a delight to watch.
It makes Hull FC way more fun to watch as well, doesn't it?
A lot more. Yeah, a lot more.
Okay, one more game to talk about from Super League this week. It was played on Sunday. It was a catch-up game, we think, or some people have reported it as being a round 16 game, some a round 12 game, some...
it was a Catalan game.
I sort of think, looking back at games that were missed, maybe I'd have it in round 9, because neither Catalans or Wakefield have played a game yet in round 9. So... that's where I'm looking. Anyway, it finished 40 points to 8 in favour of the Catalans Dragons. It was much closer than that at half time. It was 12 points to 8. 5,000 fans there is the number that's going to be reported for every Catalans game now. James Child was the referee. We don't have any stats on this one. We barely have any fan reviews, really. Bruiser664 just got in touch to say, do you have any clue what round this fixture is?
No,
hopefully we've
is the answer.
Sort of cleared that up for you, Sean. I think I'm going with round 9 for now, but League Express have gone with round 16. in terms of disciplinary, Sam Moa was a naughty boy. He got a caution for a dangerous contact and then upped that a level and got a grade A charge for a dangerous contact, but no match penalty notice, which is surprising. Surely Sam Moa's had some sort of ban in the last year, but obviously not. So. Obviously not for the old stager. No Man of Steel points yet on this one. I'm just going to do a quick check to make sure that is still the case, that we don't know any Man of Steel points on, and barely the chance to see any highlights. They just got put online after tea time today.
I've seen them. You won't be surprised.
No, well, it was about 6 o'clock that they got put up, but I was actually looking out for the Man of Steel points when I saw these. So there you go. In the League Express Albert Goldthorpe, we do know who got the points there. Sam Tompkins got 3, Maloney got 2, and Jacob Miller got 1 point, the obligatory kind of give it to the other side point that the Albert Goldthorpe does. But it seems like the pivots at Catalans ran the show. It actually looks as though Wakey had a real foothold in this until just 5 minutes before half time, Dave. I mean, they were 8 points to 0 up at that stage. It took a long time to get any sort of score in, but then 37th minute it all turned with a Matt Whitley try. I would say Wakey's tackling looked a bit limp on that try, and the homophobic outside backs try that was on the stroke of half time that gave Catalans that lead going into half time, that made that Wakey strong foothold evaporate. And then after half time, Catalan cut loose. I mean, 46th minute, 49th minute, 51st minute, 59th minute, they were the sort of, try every 5 minutes basically to see the game off. And then 63rd minute. So then by then the game was
truly gone.
Now, if the tackling was a bit limp for the tries before half time, Catalans did score a spectacular try after half time. That's the Sam Cassiano try. I mean, it was really good. The big man made a clean break from deep. That was maybe a little easy than it should have been, but he made a great break from deep. Offload into the supporting Little Sam on about the halfway line. Tompkins then turned a couple of defenders inside out, kind of basically made all the Wakefield players go towards him, but he got away from them all. And then he managed to throw a pass out to find Big Sam in return again, for Big Sam to stroll the last 30 metres or so in for the score.
I'd like to have seen that. I must go back and watch the highlights later. Sam Cassiano going from 70 metres? That's impressive.
Pretty much an 80-metre try with him covering about 50 or 60 of those 80 metres with the ball, yeah.
Did they bring oxygen on for him afterwards? He's a big man to be going that far and keeping up with Sam Tompkins.
It really was a stunning try, yeah. But I'm afraid I don't have much more to talk about on that one. Sorry, Catalans and Wakefield fans, for the short shrift on that match. But if we go into stat line of the week, I'm going to give that accolade to Danny Walker for his 71 tackles and 24 marker tackles. A couple of other guys came close, but when you do something that's like no one's done that yet this year, you gotta signal it out, haven't you? Yeah,
no, I can't argue with that. It was nice reading those out. 51 tackles, 61 tackles, 71. That's pretty damned impressive.
Yeah, I mean, do you want to pick a player of the week? If we're just looking at the Super League, we'll talk separately about the cup games in a minute.
I think it's difficult to pick players of the week from matches where you've got lopsided teams, so I'm not going to pick a Saints player from the Saints Wigan game. I'm going to pick Jake Connor.
For exactly the same methodology, I go with that. If we were going to include the cup games in this section, then we're going to talk more about them next. Then it would be someone different, but that person leaves even more bitter taste in the mouth to give it to than even Jake Connor. So we'll. What about highlight of the week from those Super League games? Now, mine's Sam Cassiano's try that you haven't seen, and everyone needs to get over to the Super League YouTube page and watch the highlights of that game to see that try. But
okay.
Did anything else stand out for you?
leaving the cup matches to one side, I am going to pick Regan Grace's try in the Saints Wigan game, even though at that stage of the game and the nature of the match obviously played a little bit into to Regan's hands. It's a fine sight to see Regan with his lovely balance breaking downfield against any team. So that would be my highlight.
Yeah, he's so balanced. He looks like he's running without balance, doesn't he? It's amazing to watch sometimes. I take that one. He was leading the try of the week stakes when I last checked, even though I thought it should be a try that we're going to talk about in the semi-finals. Before we move to that, do you want to give us the stand-ins?
I will. So my team, the Mighty Saints, are top with a 75% win rate. Warrington and Wigan are on 69%. I'm never going to get used to this. Catalans are up to fourth on points difference, having the same percentage win as Leeds at 64%, with 7 wins from 11 played. I think Catalan's still a real threat here. They're for my money, Mark. I think they're very strong. Sorry to my Leeds colleagues, I'd rather be playing Leeds in the playoffs than Catalan. Huddersfield aren't out of it yet in 6th with a 54% rate. Hull have 46, Castleford 38, Salford 36, and Hull KR sit in 10th with Wakefield bottom on points difference.
Yeah, I mean, looking at that, you've got to sort of feel like everyone from Huddersfield up, you can talk about. Everyone below Huddersfield are probably done, despite mathematically Hull FC still being in it. Huddersfield, I suppose, aren't quite out of it with that 54% win rate, just because as well, when you look at kind of where they're at with it, it's 6 from 11, I think. No, it's not. It's 7 from 13. So, So basically, they've got the same amount of wins as Leeds and Catalans have. So if Catalans and Leeds get to play extra games, which there's an issue around with Leeds getting to the final, but if they get to play all their games, then we're talking they could lose those games and Huddersfield would be level with them. It's sort of, to me, I think 13 wins guarantees you top 4 now. I'd be surprised if anyone got 13 wins and didn't get in the top 4, and I don't think more than 4 teams will get 13 wins. So it's just whether one of Wigan or Warrington drop off, and whether one of Leeds or Catalans or whether both Leeds and Catalans can go on a serious run.
Yeah. I agree with that. I'd be surprised if Huddersfield make it, but it's not impossible.
Yeah. Arguably form team with everyone else picking up defeats recently around them. In the predictions from last week, I went 5 out of 7. Tim went 4 out of 7. That we both missed out on the games we're going to talk about in a sec. In the Super Brew, I moved to the top and wear the yellow cap. Tim's down to 2nd, Sarah 3rd, and Alan 4th. That's in the hosts Super Brew. In the main Super Brew, Steve Pye stays top. He's in great form all year. John Scott, though, wears the yellow cap this week, so well done to John. Don't have all the stats properly for the Fantasy League. Something's going a bit haywire there, so we can't bring you those updates, but, Alan Bagley's top.
Goes without saying.
We're now going to move on to the Challenge Cup match reviews. So it was the semi-finals of the Challenge Cup. That means there's 2 Challenge Cup matches to review, David. We don't get the stats on the Challenge Cup games, but we do get some fan reviews in, so there's plenty to cover still. Do you want to take us through the score of the first game? We have to talk about it.
Yes, I will. It was Leeds 26, Wigan 12, and it was 20 points to 0 at half-time. Chris Kendall was the referee. And the first fan view is from Jen K. Not much to say about that. Leeds played brilliantly from the start and executed a perfect game plan. had a proper go at St Helens now.
Yeah, Baton Hall Blue said, fair play to Leeds, played Wigan and the conditions perfectly. Leeds generated loads of go forward from every play of the ball, and Wigan's smaller mobile forwards just could not on a heavy pitch against the aggressive tackling. Great hands from big comrade Fabrisco's